So far the first 4 episodes of Tales of a Walking Dead has given us some nice insights and ideas of what might happen within the zombie apocalypse. Even though one of the episodes was a little bit too far out to fit into the continuity of the Walking Dead universe. Time loop, anyone? So will the 5th episode follow suit and will also offer some new insights? Or will it be another slip? Or even something that is absolutely nothing new at all? If you want to find out more, then follow me for this short review video. Imagine this, if you will. You were unconscious and when you come to, you find yourself being handcuffed to a zombie, which would have eaten you alive if its mouth wouldn't happen to be molded shut. Your head is bleeding, you have no idea how you got here, and overall remember very little. Then you see a lot of lights coming closer to you, and you realize that you are hunted by a whole village that has formed a lynch mob eager to kill you. This is the situation in which Devon finds himself in the eponymously titled episode. Temporarily mentally impaired by his head wound, Devon tries to figure out what's going on, which is not as easy as one might think, because in his state, he also imagines that the zombie is talking to him. And no, it's not a whisperer, it's just happening in his head. Bit by bit, his memory is coming back, and he starts to remember that he had an accident a while ago where he lost one of his legs. And he was rescued by Nora and her mother Amanda, who nurtured him back to health. At first he wasn't sure where he had landed because the women were talking in French. So he thought he was in Canada, but it turned out that this is a rural community in Maine, where a whole village with people of French origin has locked themselves away from the world. Kinda like the Amish, but not as strict. While he remembers that over time he has grown into a romantic relationship with Nora, he also realizes that the person, or now zombie, that is handcuffed to his arm happens to be her mother Amanda. Yet he still doesn't remember what happened to her, or how she ended up being cuffed to his hand. While Devon is sure that he has nothing to do with her death, because his mantra was always that there needs to be another way to handle things than just violence. The whole village though seems to be pretty convinced that it is his fault that Amanda has died. With them trying to hunt him down, he has only 2 options. Either run and try to find a way out, or to find out what really happened to prove his innocence. Which way will he choose, and will he be able to manage that? Or will he end up being hunted down and just be killed at the spot? As you can hear from the synopsis, this is another episode that goes a quite interesting way, which here is almost a classic murder mystery. Some kind of a detective story where our hero, in a classic twist, has temporarily lost his memories and need to figure out what happened and save his life along the way. And to get it out of the way, as usually in this show, the acting and technical merits are spot on and there is nothing to complain there. So let's continue to look at the plot. Besides the main story that is interesting enough already, I think it was a nice idea to just have a rural setting and putting him into a community that is a little bit like the Amish, because this also gives the episode a little bit of a medieval feeling, as everyone around our lead character is running around in clothes you have not seen on people for the last few hundred years. This and the main storyline gives off the feeling as if we are seeing some kind of a witch hunt, having someone being pursued for something that he is likely innocent of doing. The fact that Devon is black also raised some interesting emotions in the beginning, because you thought maybe this rural community is also racist. Because this is pretty much the first idea your head goes to when you see a lynch mob hunting a black person. Which interestingly enough it turned out not to be, because that community also had some black people in there as well. The story also made quite good use of the whole setup by introducing some twists and turns in which you are not sure all the time that Devon actually is innocent. I mean, just because he thinks he cannot have done it does not prove that he is innocent, because we are also always seeing everything through his eyes. And I will not spoil you in saying how it turns out to be at the end. They also did a very interesting choice by having all the flashbacks being filmed, or at least appear to be filmed on dated material, so that you have some dirt and other blemishes going on screen whenever you see him remembering what happened in the past. All this really added up quite nicely, and you could really feel his hysteria growing more and more as he is unsure what really happened and faced with a fate that might be lethal, which is not that easy to reach in the span of just one episode with a character we have not seen or being made familiar with before. So kudos to that. And with that being said, let's go into the rating. But before we go there, let me ask you to like and share this video if you enjoyed it so far. And if you are no subscriber yet, then maybe consider to change that. By also hitting the notification bell, you will get a heads up for most of my new videos. So, now for the rating. Okay, let's try to make it short and quick here. As you have heard, I really enjoyed this episode, so you can assume that this is at least a 7 out of 10 points, right? I would go even further and say this was at least a great episode because not only most things were done very well, they were almost all done perfectly. Or at least very close to that. So let's go with an 8.5 out of 10 points, which I think is the highest score I have given any of the episodes of this show so far. How did you like this episode? Have you seen it and would you score it similar that I did? Or were you not that impressed by it? If you have not seen it, are you now interested in finding out what's going on? Whatever it is, just let me know in the comments. So much for now, see you next time and thanks for watching.